Hey there everybody, this is my second base tour since my turbo fuel video. This is my nuclear power plant. So here we have 36 nuclear reactors that's going to use everything that I show off. One of the things that's tricky about nuclear power is when you make a nuclear uranium fuel rod, you have to dispose of the waste as well. So I have a plutonium factory that takes the uranium waste, turns it into plutonium so that I can eventually sink it here. All this red area is the radiated part of my base. Anything red means radiation. All of this is what makes the fuel cells. I have a small oil factory over here, and then off in the distance you can see a couple. I have a wire factory, a deuterium wire factory, another deuterium wire factory, and an aluminum factory off in the distance. So they all get funneled down that waterfall looking thing. That is not waterfall, that is conveyor belts. They all get belted into the side, and yeah, let me hop down there and we'll show you what's up. So we are now down here by my train station. This is where I staged all my materials for making this build. Over there is the conveyor belt waterfall that we just saw. And let's go into this part of the factory. For some parts of this, I'm gonna have to wear a hazmat suit to get close to the radiation, so I will not be able to fly, which is kind of annoying. So all of the materials get belted in on this side. They get sorted out through this big spaghetti mess. I tried to make it look as clean as possible, and that gets turned into all sorts of components. So we got circuit boards, we got stators, we got cable. This takes some of all of those and turns them into high-speed connectors. High-speed connectors come out into electromagnetic control rods. We got some steel products coming in. Everything comes in through this row of conveyor belts and starts getting turned into the real meaty stuff. This pumps out crystal oscillators. Some of the oscillators get formed off into beacons. All that is the radiation area. You can see the uranium on the bottom, and this is actually where the uranium starts to get processed. The excess of everything that is made over here gets flowed over to the side, and I have a nice grid of all the things that are going off to the plutonium factory, which you can see through here is all these conveyor belts all stacked on top of each other. That's 10 conveyor belts. They all go all the way down there to the plutonium factory. So I'll cover that in a bit. But we got all, can't get too close. We got all the uranium coming in and turning into encased uranium cells, and then the uranium cells get turned into uranium power cells. Let me put on my hazmat suit. And this is the final product. Actual, no shit, uranium fuel rods. So all these fuel rods are gonna get put into there, and I'm gonna turn this on for the first time right now. So this is going to sort out all of the rods going out into the factory and hopefully power everything up. So without further ado, all these rods go into this splitter, and this is load balanced. So exactly 1/36 is received by each one of the nuclear reactors. And these will go out, and all the radiation will just be contained here. So you can see all these are half splitting everything, and these are probably going to start turning on. I haven't even seen these turn on before. I don't know what they look like. So let's get a little farther away, and hopefully I can use my jetpack. And there we go, that's our first nuclear power plant turning on. And each one of these power plants, my God, look at that power spike. Each one of these power plants will take in 0.2 rods per minute. So I'm making 7.2 rods a minute. Look at that power spike. This is from when I had my turbo fuel going, and it just keeps ramping up my production because all these are turning on now. They're going around and actually getting fuel. This is going to produce 90 gigawatts, this factory alone. And then they'll burn for 5 minutes. The uranium waste will be hauled off on separate lines. See, you can already see some waste right there. And that will be processed by the Plutonium Factory. So let a little bit of waste stack up, and I will see you over there. So here we are at my plutonium facility. So these are all the nuclear reactors. All of the waste will come from the reactors, get mixed in with a whole bunch of other stuff. So this is all the materials from the main part of the base. The excess will come here. It's going to get turned into a whole bunch of stuff. We got, screws. We have aluminum casings. This will make computers. One half of the equation is the plutonium. The other half is these cubes that I'm going to be making. So plates and rods come together to make these modular frames. They just look like basic squares. They come in over here and they get upgraded into heavy modular frames. Heavy modular frames get turned into fused modular frames. Fused modular frames get turned into, that is too irradiated, pressure conversion cubes. The pressure conversion cubes will eventually merge with the encased plutonium cells to make the final finished product of plutonium fuel rods. Over here is where all of the magic happens with the uranium. So this is all the uranium waste, and it gets turned into non-fissile uranium. So it gets combined in these into non-fissile uranium that we can see right here. These get put into these giant machines, which are particle accelerators. They turn them into plutonium pellets. The pellets get fed into the back, which is where they get combined with concrete to make encased plutonium cells. Plutonium cells come up here, and we're about to see the first plutonium fuel rods being created here in just a couple seconds. And then we can follow it down to the awesome sink. That is the only way to get rid of materials in this game, and the only way to get rid of irradiated materials in general. I could use these plutonium fuel rods as a second source of fuel. There we go. But then I would never be able to get rid of them. So this is the only way to safely get rid of radiation in my world. So this moves really slow because I'm trying to make it dramatic. We're going to follow this all the way down to the main base, and I will see you guys there for the first sinking. Here we are at the output. Let me throw on my hazmat suit real quick. These are the first two that will make it into my awesome sink. Here we have the nuclear power switch. So if I turn that off, you can see how much of a power drop I have. This factory produces 90 gigawatts of power. So when I turn that on, production jumps 90 gigawatts. And these will get sunk into this. I tried to make it as big a spectacle as possible, so I got some lights over here that I can turn on. And now my world is free of radiation. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll have some more cool factories to show you in the future.